Welcome everybody. I had a couple issues recording this the first time around, but I just wanted to let you know that I love you. Haha. We got ourselves Siatam representing the Royal Raikus. Yeah, because he's been on that team for years now. And Glfgno, whom I affectionately call the good Lord forgives no one, because Glfgno. And he's repping the Ladder Bayleaf Saints. This is a GSCOU game, GSCPL, and it's pretty interesting for reasons you are yet to see. Quick reminder, it's a Belgian Pro League format. We got ourselves 4 teams playing across 3 weeks in a round robin to see who gets the trophy. So, how's this going to go down? It's best of 1, folks. We got Cloy lead, Eggy lead. Cloy lead's interesting. In certain cases, you might think that it's a good idea to just stay in on an Eggy, but you really don't want that sleep powder. The damage is fine, I guess. It's not like Cloyster really needs it that much, but it's more so the sleep powder. So Siatam, who has been playing in SPL for many years, got 4th place in GSC Invitational one time. Glfgno placed in the Invitational. You know, this is a pretty good player as well. We got ourselves Nito. It was an interesting switch earlier. Just going back there real quick. Whoops. Went too far back. But interesting switch here to AE on what was a Zapdos. But now we see that the Nidoking has a lovely kiss, and so Glfgno is going to go to Zapdos. He might have 2 Sleep Talkers, and goes to Cloyster on the Nido, which is interesting. Might have been a prediction of a switch to Lax, but I don't necessarily agree. And decides to stay in here too, gets crit. Giga Drain would have been an okay play, but now it just looks real bad. I think for a trade of Psychic on Psychic, it would have favored the Eggy there. Now, as to why Siatam stayed in, the only reason I can imagine is because he wants to weaken the grass type for something that is specifically countered, and of course that can only mean something like a water. Although there is a chance that it could be a Machamp in the back. Nidochamp has been used before. It's an interesting play, to say the least, to boom on that Eggy there after that whole sequence, and looks like Siatam got the better end of the stick. Pardon me, I'm very sick. So if I sound funny, that's because I am sick. And Golem Nido pairs very interestingly, because in a situation like this, you don't necessarily have to spin. And many times, Golem excels in those situations where you accept it, not having to spin. Hang on. We see some spamming of EQ, and he stays in. He knows he can take some damage, but Siatam, nonetheless, decides to go for an EQ again, which is a very nice call out, dealing some nice damage on the licks. And since we know that there is a Lax in the back, GL is not going to let his Steelix take more damage. And out of this, look at how many times Siatam has stayed in. He knew about the spike. He roared. He didn't attack. He roared. And now he can spin. And he got so much value. Oh, he didn't spin. Okay. Interesting. Probably trying to make another call out there. And yet another. Jeez. Okay. Zapdos wakes up. And a boom. Just straight up boom. As you can see, trigger friendly today, but, you know, we got ourselves, what turn is this? 20. Turn 20, we got 2 Laxes staring each other down. Is Siatam, or sorry, is the Good Lord's Lax a curse? Perhaps not. Okay. And now that goes down. So we did see Curse EQ, Nido plus Golem. Very interesting. Alright. Not unheard of by any stretch of the imagination, but...
Just a thin, tall kid rapping.
Fucking shredded.
He is.
His abs are ridiculous.
He will get...
Call that, boom. And bing! In the back, we got ourselves a Machamp. Siatam might have been hoping for a Vaporeon in the back. This is looking scary. Champ's already at +1. Gets a Rock Slide off. Is likely to kill should the Zapdos stay in. And does get scot-free. This is looking very bad for Siatam all of a sudden. And we see a Vaporeon. This isn't going to kill the Machamp. It deals 34. That's just shy of a 3-hit. But GL is going to switch out because he wants the Machamp to have enough health to live. I can't say I agree with that. But I guess he also is factoring in Acid Armor. Maybe. Acid Armor giving 2 boosts, but this is just your standard growth Sleep Talk Vaporeon. And in this situation, it's looking pretty good for the Good Lord. But it's anyone's game here. Anyone's game. We got ourselves a rest. Ooh. Growth. It's Snorlax is in 2-hit KO range. This is very iffy. Gets the Surf. Will it matter? We're not sure. Okay, so in this situation, if I'm Siatam, I don't want to attack here because obviously that would spell the end. And Machamp being in the back and faster can definitely take out the Lax. But it needs a crit to OHKO it. And it definitely needs a crit to break through a +1 boost. So Siatam is most likely going to either curse or rest. Decides to opt for the curse, which is interesting because a double to Machamp would have ended the game. So we get a double edge, which for GL is nice, but not the... He doesn't expect to just end it here because, of course, Siatam is going to rest. And here's where things can go south if the Snorlax hits. Siatam doesn't click Sleep Talk. Instead, in fact, for 2 turns he doesn't do that, which is interesting. Perhaps hoping that the Machamp would slow itself down by clicking Curse a second time, outspeeding it, which is an interesting tactic, because otherwise I don't see why you wouldn't click Sleep Talk there. And, oh, a miss. Wow. That's insane. Siatam has essentially won the game. Can't die to a double edge unless... Oh, shit. Oh, God. And there it is, guys. Unless happened. Unless the Lax gets a crit and it died to its own recoil, which, in our ruling, does count as a tie. So that means they have to play the game again. Now, I went ahead and took the liberty of looking at the other games since 2 links were posted. I'm not going to cover it because it's just so long and I don't want to go through 200 turns. But I'll do you folks a solid and record another game. Thanks for getting to the end of the video. If you want to confuse the people who haven't seen to the ending, type pineapples. Okay? Thank you all. And since I know most of you haven't really... A lot of you are returning viewers, but some people are new. Consider subscribing. It's because I can see who subscribes based on which video. So if I know that you like it, then consider subscribing. So I know that you like this kind of content. All right, folks. Love you. GG.